Alright, so this is my pick for the best budget sneaker of 2020 so far. It is an Air Max, and it is only $50. Now, at the end of 2019, I did a video called Best Budget Sneaker, and it did really well at the end of last year. And this shoe is actually cheaper, so I thought that I would go ahead and do a video on this one. Of course, this one is cheaper because it's on sale. But right now, you can pick this up from some stores online for as cheap as $51, which is in pesos about 2,500 pesos. Even if you pay for shipping, you know, shipping from Hong Kong is about 1,000 pesos. It is an Air Max, and I did pick up when it was first re-retroed last year. I got one for retail for my wife, so now I'm just kind of like dollar cost averaging by getting a cheap one, by getting a cheaper one. Without any more ado, I'm gonna give you this shoe, my pick for best budget sneaker, $50, the Air Max 2 Lite SP. So this Air Max comes in the Nike Sportswear box, which is kind of this infrared color with the white Nike written on it, regular paper on the inside, and then you get to the sneaker. The first batch came out in kind of the main colorways, which were primarily mesh with some faux suede on the toe. This version comes in a slightly more waterproof, I guess you could say, setup with all of the side paneling being done in leather. The toe is made of a ripstop instead of that suede, and then the toe box and the tongue are done in mesh, and then under the mesh it is reflective. The different colorways come with different lace doubrés here for the bottom of the lacing setup. And on this pair, that doubré is purple plastic. On other models, this doubré is 3M and reflective, but it is not on this model. I'm guessing because the material under the mesh is already reflective, and making this bit reflective might be overkill. White laces, it only comes with one pair of laces. The swoosh is kind of in a rough sandpaper-like leather material. It's not 3M or anything, but you do have hits of 3M on the back, near the heel, and under the back tab, which has the signature Nike Air. And the Nike Air is debossed, with the swoosh being embossed in black. So it's got this nice 3-layer vibe to it. On the top of the tongue is also made of ripstop. It is a white ripstop, and you have the Circle Air Max 2 logo on the tongue. The sock liner is a dark blue, and behind the tongue is the same orange, kind of habanero orange, that is on the side panel in leather. The insole does not come out, but it has a really nice print on it. It says Nike Air, and it does have all three colors: the turquoise, the habanero red, and the navy. The midsole is totally white. The air units are also white, with the back midsole being a different color, and that looks like it's blue. And under that molded midsole, which is made of very nice plush foam, you have a solid rubber outsole that comes in 3 colors. The center areas are made of white hard rubber, and the heel crash pad is the same kind of green turquoise that's on the top, with the toe section being in dark black. Both sections are actually speckled with some white and gray tones, adding for a nice luxurious and fun feel to this outsole. And that is the Air Max Lite. Sorry, I always get this wrong. That is the Air Max 2 Lite SP. As I was saying earlier, I actually bought my wife a pair of these, a yellow pair, when we went to Hong Kong Art Week last year, and we actually got those at retail price. It was a gift that I got for her. So picking these ones up for $50 is really a steal. Like, that's a really great price, especially when you know the legacy of the shoes. Now, I grew up as a runner when in the 90s. I was into running. Now, of course, I was a kid. I was a young teenager, and I couldn't fit into any of these shoes because they just didn't make them in size 4, I think. But in 1999, when these came out kind of as the predecessor to the Air Max 95. Now, the shoes that came out before this were, of course, the Air Max 1, the Air Max Lite, and then the Air Max 180. And all three of those shoes had heel air units, but no air units in the toe. It was always a nice cushy foam toe, and then the heel air unit. And this one carried on that tradition until the Air Max 95 had the open air units here in the front. Now, this is kind of the European vibe, brother to the mainline Air Max family. It was the first time that we saw this particular Air Max setup, if I remember correctly. But this one pioneered it. What you actually have here, you can see, and if you feel the Air Max on the shoe, the side units are actually stiffer than the back unit, and they kind of act like outriggers. And then there's a channel that runs across between the two here and near the arch of your foot. So it's kind of like U-shaped over here, and then you have the back heel unit, which is significantly softer or a lower PSI. Now, the way that this works is that, and this was state-of-the-art technology in 1994 when this came, you would land. And that's a funny thing. So I think people forget that this is what people used to run marathons in. Like, if you look at the shoes that we run in now for exercise, it's hard to imagine that a shoe this heavy and this complex with leathers were what we ran in. But this was it. This was state of the art at the time. You had these outrigger air units, and then the center unit actually had like a little bubble crash pad, or it has, because I'm holding the shoe, it still has it. It has a kind of a crash pad here where your heel actually hits. And when your heel hits that little crash pad, it sends air to the back. And that acts as your shock absorber, and that's why it's soft. So that when you land on that section, it stiffens up here and you get the cushion. Meanwhile, it's softened and balanced around the edges to keep your foot from pronating, which is when your foot tilts left or right. And this was the predecessor to the Air Max 95, which also gave us the air units here in the front. So it is, in terms of heritage, this shoe does have a lot of story. It has that nice European 90s feel. The color blocking is really nice on this set. I actually picked this up. The reason I looked it up was because I watched that Will Ferrell movie, the Eurovision thing on Netflix, and there's one scene where he's wearing these shoes because they're so Euro, and they're also super 90s. I find these shoes to be super comfortable. I think that this is a great pickup, especially at the price. But even at retail, this is a good price. So if you find them, if you're not as lucky as me, I guess, and you don't find them for $50, which is basically the price of shipping, if you don't find them at that price, you will be able to find them for that $70, $90 range. So between 2,500 pesos to 5,000 pesos, which is a great price at this quality, at this styling, for an Air Max Retro, something that basically came out in 1994. So if you're saying the 90s are back, this is what's back. All right, so that's it. This is my pick for the best shoe that you can get for $50. Partially inspired by that Eurovision movie, but also inspired by another YouTuber that I follow called Hes Kicks, and he runs a site called collectivekicks.com where you can see a lot of discounts. Basically, like, he collates all of the discounts from around the web and he puts it on his website. And he called up a bunch of YouTubers from around the world, and they talked about their picks for the best $50 shoe. And no one mentioned this shoe, so that's one of the reasons why I wanted to mention it, because I felt like it's kind of going under the radar. This is a great pickup. It has air. If you're gonna go for something like a P6000, I think is the name. I mean, that's an okay shoe, but this one's an Air Max, right? That one's an all foam shoe. So in terms of technology and heritage, and if you like retro runners, it's a great way to go. $50. Shout out to Hes Kicks. I am also thinking of doing because they also did a best shoe at $100 price range. So we did the 50, and then we'll do one for the $100 price range. I have a really interesting pick there. One person did pick it on Hes's video, but yeah, I think you'll be pretty surprised because it's a collaboration shoe and it is a mainline shoe, and the materials on that one are fantastic. Like, mwah, French kiss, not French kiss, chef's kiss. Well, the shoe is really soft, like it's like very supple lips if you want to French kiss that shoe. All right, a bit too TMI? Yeah, a bit TMI. All right, so thank you guys for watching. If you do enjoy this video and you do want to see that other video, please do subscribe and check out our channel. It is at Honeycomb Manila. We are also at Honeycomb Manila on Instagram, but also follow me. I am at Kosha and at Adjima Mag. Please do stay safe and wash your hands and wear a mask. It's a good idea. All right, take care, everyone. Stay safe. Bye.